Our first tribute speaker is Governor J.B. Pritzker. Governor Jim Edgar believed that governors, regardless of party, should support one another in service of people. He often said the most important job of any governor was to pass a responsible budget, protect the most vulnerable, and create opportunity for all. He would be deeply honored to see friend, former Governor Pat Quinn, here with us today, and grateful that Governor Pritzker accepted Brenda Edgar's invitation to speak. Before his passing, Jim specifically asked JB offer remarks at his funeral. He believed it was important to show that bipartisanship still matters, that it still lives in Illinois and in America. Governor Pritzker understood early on what made Jim Edgar special, a rare statesman who put people before party, principles before politics, and a long-term future of Illinois ahead of short-term gains. That's why after his election, Governor Pritzker asked Jim Edgar, a Republican with decades of experience and a 78% approval rating, to chair his transition team. He knew there was no better example of public service done right. Today, as we honor Governor Edgar's legacy, it's fitting we hear from someone who saw him not just as a predecessor, but as a mentor and model of true leadership. Please welcome Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Well, good morning. We gather together today to mourn the loss of a husband, a father, a grandfather, a mentor, and a friend, and also to celebrate the life of a great man and a leader whose legacy of service and dedication to the people of Illinois has imprinted on us all. In the last few days, I've reflected on what I think everyone should know about Jim Edgar. But it all boils down to this. He's good people. You can see that in his family, in Brenda and Brad and Elizabeth and all the grandchildren. Your love for each other, your character, is a reflection of the goodness and love that Jim carried for you in his heart. You are his living legacy, and he was so proud of you. And the people Governor Edgar surrounded himself with in his public service as a state representative, as Secretary of State, as governor, well, you're here for him today, as you were for him throughout his years in government and beyond. The loyalty, the kindness, the integrity with which you served him during and after his public service is a reflection of the loyalty, kindness, and integrity that he gave to you. You remain a team whose captain was proud of you and all that you've accomplished. And I guess you're the original Edgar Fellows. Jim Edgar was exemplary in so many ways. When I was first elected governor, I looked around for experienced mentors that I could rely upon for advice and guidance. And there are very few who have worn these shoes, who truly understand what the job entails, and whose advice I could trust. Fortunately for me and for Illinois, Governor Jim Edgar's values and judgment and service have been a model to follow. And he was willing to offer his wisdom. Even though he had health challenges, he was generous with his time and always thoughtful in his advice. In my first meeting with him, he admonished me, as was said moments ago, remember, your first and most important job is to pass a balanced budget every year. So every time we passed a balanced budget, like an excited kid to a parent, I'd say, look, I did what you said I should do. I passed a balanced budget. And then he'd say, good job, now do it again. Jim Edgar believed deeply in our individual and our collective responsibility to one another. That regardless of where we live, what we look like, or who we voted for, our foremost obligation is to serve one another. That is how he governed, and that is how he lived. As governor, Jim was a steady hand and a comforting, calming presence for our state through times of crisis. He could walk into a room of people he disagreed with, hold on to his strong views, and still listen and learn with a full heart. All of these characteristics, so inherently Illinois, made Jim a force for unity with a unique ability to bring people together despite their differences. These are lessons that I think all of us could use right now. Earnestness, honesty, unwavering loyalty to the people he served have made Jim Edgar an icon of the great state of Illinois, no matter what party you belong to. His impact is incalculable, and it changed our state for the better. As we look ahead and we chart our course for the future, the best of who we are as a state could be found in how Jim Edgar served and lived his life. It says everything about Jim that after a lifetime of faithful elected public service to Illinois, in retirement, he dedicated his seemingly unlimited energy, relentless passion, and deep commitment to the people and institutions of this state. His legacy will live on in the innumerable lives that he touched, the stronger institutions he helped to build, and in the spirit of unity that he fostered. To Brenda, to Brad, to Elizabeth, and to all the grandchildren, you will always be a first family of Illinois, and Jim's memory will forever be a blessing to us all.